following announcement has been paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hello, ladies. Remember me? Let me talk to you, dummies.
It's now time
It's theater time. TikTok.
It's showtime!
for the longest running wrestling talk show in history.
We are huge. It's gonna be cool.
You're where it's at.
You smell like me.
Tune in each and every week.
You better keep listening, or I'll come out of your computer
And turn it on for you.
or else I'm gonna kick your stinking teeth in.
We've been known by a few names.
The needs of the many far outweigh the needs of the few.
The interactive interview,
Interactive interview. Oh, yeah.
Interactive interview.
The interactive interview. Interactive interview. The interactive interview.
interactive wrestling radio,
Interactive wrestling radio.
Interactive Wrestling Radio.
Interactive radio. Interactive wrestling radio. Interactive wrestling radio.
The Blaze,
Blaze 1260 AM. The Blaze.
The Blaze.
Blaze. The Blaze Rock.
and a lot of other names.
Weekend Warrior of Wrestling. The Pile Driver. The Epa Wrestling Center.
3 Count Wrestling.
The Hours Lab.
But it's all one show, the Wrestling Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter. The Wrestling Epicenter.
The Epicenter.
Wrestling Epicenter, dude. The Wrestling Epicenter. Don't get off.
And your host from day one,
By ignorance or arrogance.
James Walsh.
Wake up, sleepyheads.
Dr. Carol House.
It all starts
What a rush. Oh, Boomer Sooner.
Thank you very much.
I got 2 words for you. Thumbs down. Breaking necks and cashing checks. I've heard a lot about you guys.
Check it out. Get out of my face. You win!
But I'm desperately out of time.
So what you gonna do when Blaze-a-mania runs wild on you?
now.
Welcome back to Interactive Wrestling Radio. On the Newsmaker line with us right now is a first-time guest, episode number 730, and it's the first time, believe it or not, that we've had on the former Elijah Burke, the Pope, D'Angelo Dinero. Mr. Dinero, are you with me?
I'm with you, but just Pope's not going to be in the habit of correcting you, although that just comes with the territory. But it is actually the Pope Elijah Burke, not D'Angelo Dinero.
Oh.
So D'Angelo Dinero is a thing of the past, and the former is indeed the current. Elijah Burke is who I am since day one. That's my birth right, and I will always be Elijah Burke, and obviously the Pope on top of that. So you can choose either, but nonetheless, the Pope takes, it takes the top billing.
Yeah, we'll just go with the Popes. This way we can't get it confused, can't get it twisted, if you will.
Right.
All right. So, of course, the reason we're having you on is you're going to be appearing on national pay-per-view tomorrow night with UWN Primetime Live. It's going to be a heck of a show. I've been enjoying what I've been seeing from them. What's your thoughts going into tomorrow night in Primetime Live?
Well, I mean, we're talking Primetime Live, collaboration with Championship Wrestling from Florida, Dave Marquez, as well as my president of the NWA National Wrestling Alliance, Billy Corrigan. It's a throwback, if you will, and obviously a continuation of what we've already been doing with NWA Powerrr. So Pope is looking forward to coming, and they wanted Pope to be the Pope of the past, if you will, and put back on the tights, don the tights, get in the ring with some talent there. So Pope's going to come do what Pope has still been doing, and that's getting in the ring and making things a little bit more pentacular, if you will.
Absolutely. You just mentioned my next question, which was the last time we saw you, you were more of a color commentator kind of guy. You weren't really in the ring as much, so it's been a little while since we've seen the Pope on national TV wrestling. Is there any nerves going into that?
No, absolutely not, because while Pope has not been on the national scene wrestling, Pope has still been wrestling. That's second nature. That has not changed. You know, Pope has been doing the indie scene or whatnot, just have not been on on a national level wrestling. So no nerves really. It's just it is what it is, you know. It's like riding a bicycle. Like I said, I haven't stopped wrestling. I just have not been doing it on the national scene. So looking forward to it, man.
Very good. You're going to be teaming with Watts, not to be confused with Bill or Eric Watts, even though I think his first name actually is Eric, which is kind of weird. But
right.
But you're going to be facing Zicky Dice and a partner of his choosing. What's your thoughts on the match and your partner?
Well, you know, familiar with Watts to a certain extent. Know he's been wrecking a little havoc and making a name for himself up there, you know, in California with Primetime Wrestling as well. So I'm looking forward to teaming with him, seeing what he's about, seeing if he can carry the load, if you will. And certainly when it comes to Zicky Dice, I've had my run-in with Ziggy. You could date that back to Pope's arrival to NWA Powerrr. And you know, I know when it comes to Ziggy, things aren't always what they seem to be. And I know he's been sort of felt like Pope shafted him, if you will, kind of overlooked him in Pope's search of his own hostman. So I know Ziggy got some issues. He take a little issue with Pope, and if he wants to get Ziggy, if you will, he wants to jump Ziggy, he wants to jump bad, then he can certainly do that, and Pope will be more than willing, more than able and capable of putting him in his place. As far as his tag team partner go, that's just a mystery. Obviously, that kind of throws a little monkey wrench into how Pope can prepare for the matchup. But Pope will be prepared nonetheless, and I'm sure Watts is ready as well.
Awesome. And you mentioned it already, but NWA Powerrr, you know, the pandemic has kind of taken a lot of really cool stuff from us. You know, baseball looks really weird. It looks like they're playing Guess Who with the cardboard cutouts in the crowd. And even football has, even though some places have had crowds. But losing NWA Powerrr seems to be like the first like real kick in the groin to wrestling fans from the pandemic standpoint. You know, what did you think of the NWA Powerrr format of being studio wrestling in the 21st century?
You know, if someone had told me 5 years ago that studio wrestling would return to the extent of the way NWA Powerrr was doing it and delivering, I would have called it BS. I would have called it crazy. I would have said there's no way. But with the team that was assembled by President Billy Corrigan of the National Wrestling Alliance, the way they put that thing together, the way that show was rocking and rolling, it became Pope's favorite weekly show of wrestling, period. It was my favorite. Not only was it a throwback, it was a tie-in to what's current. And, you know, when you can watch a show and even the commercials are as entertaining, they had me. So that's why Pope, it was only natural that I joined that wonderful team over there at the National Wrestling Alliance. NWA Powerrr, man, it you know, to lose it at this current time, I know we'll be back. Billy has no he has no thought whatsoever to not come back to end that process. So look forward to that returning, certainly.
Absolutely. And we talked a little bit about your names, and you're the exception to the rule. You're not the rule. You're the exception to the rule in that when I think of your best stuff, I don't think of your time in WWE. I think of your time in TNA, in Impact, if you will. I guess, why do you think that is? Why do you think your stuff stands out more from TNA than it did for WWE?
Well, again, that's why that Pope name takes precedent over Elijah Burke. And that's because even to this day, and certainly when I hit my stride in TNA, when I was walking through airports, when I'm in stores, when I'm at restaurants, sure, there are people that will say Elijah Burke or whatnot, but Pope became the thing. Pope became the man. Pope became who I am. Mm-hmm. And the reason that became and got over so well is because, quite frankly, it is me. It is who I am. It is Elijah Burke with the subtitle of Pope, but it's amped up. It was more natural for me to be the Pope. It's more natural for me to play just to play off my background, who I am, and everything. And more importantly, when I got to TNA, there was no scripts for Pope. You put a live mic in front of Pope and let Pope go out and just, you know what I'm saying? You let Pope go out there and be Pope and do my thing, and it just it's natural. It's natural, and I had no muzzle. I had no necessary scripts to follow. Vince Russo just said, Pope, what are we going to do today, Pope? What you got for me? And that's it. Pope,
Awesome.
What you got? And I'm like, what you mean? What do you mean? Come on, what you going to say? Well, what's going on? What am I involved with? Just tell me, you know? And so that was pretty much it, man. Go out there and be Pope. Every time I was given a mic, go be Pope.
Awesome.
And I think that's why Pope stood out.
Awesome. And I've heard you do prior interviews. A lot of them were during your time with Impact. And during that time, you were very complimentary to Dixie Carter. Personally, I have never said a bad word about her. I've not done that. I'm not on that board, or that bandwagon, if you will. I'm always positive to her. But now that you're not employed by her, do you still say those positive things? Do you think that she still was working as hard as they say he was? Or do you think that she gets a bum rap, if you will, from some people?
Well, certainly she gets a bum rap. She gets a bum rap for a lot of things, and she don't get enough credit for the major thing, and that's the fact that she took a company that was going under and made it a national company, made it a somewhat profitable company as well. Sure, she's not the wrestling genius or the wrestling mastermind that so many people have obviously pointed out, but when it came to the promotion and the productive side of getting Impact TNA to where it needed to be to make it a respectable number 2 at the time. Mm-hmm. She did that. Look at Impact now. You know, Impact is trying to find its way again. You know, and for all of the woes and the lows of where Impact went, sure. Is she blameless in all of that? No, she's not blameless in it. But I think a lot of people focus on the bad and not the good that she contributed to that. She gave everybody that came through there, she gave them a second chance. She gave them another chance at making a decent living at what we all love to do. So for that, I'm forever grateful, you know? Awesome.
I hate to hit you with another kind of opinion question again, but
I'm not short on them, so it don't matter.
Awesome. All right. So it doesn't take too much of a wrestling historian to hear that some of Dusty Rhodes' isms, his jive talk, has found its way into your promos. And I know you got a chance to work with him backstage in WWE. How much did that mean to you to get to work with the Dream?
It means absolutely the world. The fact that when a young Elijah Burke is walking into the arena, got my bag in tow, and here comes the Dream walking down with his favorite ostrich cowboy boots on and his slacks at the time, I believe, because they even made him switch over. But, you know, got his collared shirt on. And I believe he may have had some jeans on. I want to say jeans, but nonetheless, to see this man walking up, and I stopped and I froze. And he comes walking up, walking by me. And of course I got to introduce myself. And when he got within, 6 feet, I went to stick out my hand and say, "Hey, Dream, nice to meet you, it's Elijah Burke." He swipes my hand out of the way, throw his arms around me and go, "I don't need you to tell me your name. I know all about you, boy. I'm the one brought you up here. You and me, we're going to make a lot of money together. Go put your bags down and come back and find me." So Dream, he is, top billing. He's the reason that there is a Pope. And he was the first one to take an actual script that was from the writers. He said, "Take this right here, read it real quick." And I went and I read it in front of him. I read it. He said, "You got it?" He said, "Don't take too long. You got it?" And then he just snatched it back from me. He balled it up and he threw it behind him. He said, "You know what they want you to say. Now I want you to just take that and you say it how you want to say it, Daddy. Don't you worry about Vince and Stephanie. I'll deal with them."
I love it. Do you watch much of AEW at all?
Of course, yeah. I try. I mean, I got a podcast, Pope's Point of View, that's available on all podcasting platforms. So I tend to try to cover and talk about some of the current stuff that are happening every week on my podcast show. So yeah, I watch AEW.
Awesome. The reason I ask is Cody's promo from Dynamite was, I think, really, really good. And he's got the gift that his dad had, where he could say something without really saying anything. And it's just really special. What did you think of his promo, and what do you think of how he's learned from his dad?
Well, it's quite obvious. And it's crazy that you're asking that, because, again, I just covered that on my podcast, Post Point of View. And his promo was a highlight of the show. To have the understanding and the wherewithal and to know how to properly convey your emotions and speak and like Dusty did, to reach out through television and beyond that arena and cause people to feel your pain, your anguish, your emotions. And that's something that Cody has done very well. He allows the audience, the viewer, to become invested in what he's saying, and he always builds. He builds his promos the way you should. You don't just come out screaming. You start off subtle, as he did, and then he just built. And then at the end, it goes as high as it can go. So I dug the promo. I dug it, and I was talking about who's the special attraction, about AEW, keeping someone special or whatnot. If there's anybody that certainly can be held to that regard, then it's Cody.
I agree. So one more uncomfortable question, then we'll wrap up with two simple ones for you, okay?
None has been uncomfortable. Uncomfortable for you, maybe, not for me. Pope wears size 12. I stand on them, and I speak my mind and my own opinion, which we're all entitled to. So nothing uncomfortable, man. I know how to handle it.
All right. So you had the last match with Chris Benoit, and I always thought that when they did the documentary, The Dark Side of the Ring, that you would have been a perfect person to speak on that, because you were in the ring with him. You would know, where his head was at, just days before. So I guess my question would be, did you even get any sense that there was something not right there?
No, not at all. Not at all. One thing that Chris was big on, though, and looking back, hindsight 2020, if I can say, oh, wow, that kind of makes sense, it's just the fact that he said, talk to me out there. I might forget, and so obviously when the brain report came back after all of the, stuff, unfortunately, that happened, and they revealed that he had the brain like an 80-year-old with Alzheimer's disease, and it's like, maybe that's why. But in this business, we should always talk, and that's the way I was trained, that we should always communicate anyways. And so I didn't think anything of it, and even now, that could have been a sign, like Chris Benoit telling me to talk to him, that could have been a sign. But other than that, there was nothing. There was nothing that could have tipped me or anyone else off about the mindset or the stage of degeneration when it came to his brain, per the the results of his test, that he was in that type of shape.
Yeah, absolutely, and I've always wondered that. So I'm glad to get that story from you. I really am.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, so
I would have thought myself, after watching and learning of the Dark Side, because I know they're supposed to have been doing a movie on it, and someone contacted me a while back about the possible, something possible about working with him when it came to the movie. Someone had got the rights to do a movie or something to that extent. So I thought when they did the Dark Side that that would have been a perfect time for them to contact me as well. Not saying that it was the same people, but I spent that whole weekend with Chris Benoit, wrestling them. So
yeah. All right. So you did color commentary for Impact Wrestling. It's kind of cool because to promote their streaming app, they always show highlights, and it almost seems like almost every week it's something that you and Josh Matthews was calling as the clip. And I guess my time would be, how did you enjoy being behind the desk instead of being in the ring when you were in Impact?
I loved it. I loved it, especially at Impact, because I know my focus was to get the talent over. And so I naturally adapted to it. Obviously not to the level of a Josh Matthews, who has many hats that he wears, but once I got comfortable and got in my groove, from day one, when I got behind that desk, I wanted to tell the story, put the guys over in the ring. It's like, look, I don't want to be promoting nothing or talking about what's to come, or plugging the doggone TNAshop.com. That's for you to do. You handle that junk. I really want to talk about, for example, Mr. Spectacular, Jesse Goddard. I wanted to get characters over. I dubbed him the modern day Adonis. I started calling his Boston Crab the Adonis Lock. Like stuff like it allowed my creativity to come through and work for my brothers, for the guys that were out there in the ring. So I looked forward to it, and it was very fun. Sitting there, sometimes it was stressful, but nonetheless, it was good. I really had a blast doing that. To have Matt Hardy to hit me up, or Gregory Helms to hit me up and be like, man, bro, thanks, or you guys killed it. That was good stuff. Like, I enjoyed telling those stories for those guys and helping to get their stuff over.
Awesome. And, I'm going to say this to you. I'm not blowing smoke, but you're a really good dude. Your charitable side is really a really big part of who you are and what you do. Did you want to talk a little bit about your charity work?
I appreciate that. Sure, man. Well, what we do is simple. My charity, the Love Alive charity, with your listeners, anyone listening, you can go to love-alive.org, and you can read up about my charity and how we do what we do to love individuals while they are alive, hence the name, Love Alive Charity. We simply try to reach out and take care the best we can, the homeless and disadvantaged communities within and around the Jacksonville, Florida area. So we hold these events called Love Drives, and we give people as much as we can. We give them hope, and just to love on them at that very moment in time. We feed them, we clothe them, we give them hygiene products, shoes, blankets for the people that are on the streets. We do whatever that we can and provide for them. When it comes to the food, man, I take much pride in the fact that we are not giving these people, and I'm talking hundreds, we fed over thousands and thousands and thousands of people since my charity's inception in 2012. But hundreds will come out, stand in line for hours, and we feed them directly out of Burger King. Okay, so we feed them the stuff that you and I can fall off of your local expressway because you're hungry and go get. And that's what we feed them. We feed them we partner with Burger King, and awesome. We feed them directly out of Burger King. Just the simple stuff that we take for granted.
Awesome. That's awesome, man. Final question for you. It's kind of a cream puff, but it's leading into tomorrow night. UWN Primetime Live. What's your final thoughts going into California tomorrow night?
Hey, man, Pope's looking forward to coming back to Cali. I'm going to pull up and show up and show out like only Pope can. And again, man, it's a new era, as you mentioned before, with the way that we're doing things right now amidst the COVID outbreak and the limitations that we have. But once Pope get in the ring, man, it's going to be just like times of old, rocking and rolling, juking and jiving like only your boy Pope can. So I'm looking forward to it. Primetime Live. Look out, man, because we're about to be pimping. You know how we do it when Pope get there, man. Everything's about to be a little bit more pentacular.
Awesome, man. Hey, can I ask for one last favor before I hang up the phone on you?
Absolutely.
Do you mind if I ask for a station ID just saying this is the Pope and you're listening to the Wrestling Epicenter?
Yes, sir. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Pope Elijah Burke, and you are listening to the Wrestling Epicenter.
The preceding announcement was paid for by the Wrestling Epicenter.
I'm to listen, and if you like what you heard, I'm glad. If you didn't like what you heard, well, go fuck yourself.
Most people done hung up on me.
We had a lovely conversation.
What a show.
Oh, mercy, daddy.
On your radio dial. Don't hang up. Bye-bye.